Hernandez here of MLH Media, and we are here today, first episode of the new platform. And wow, let me just say, I'm just honored to have this first guest on, somebody that's been killing it in the YouTube MMA scene. I think pretty soon he may be coming over there for that #1 spot for Guru, man. My guy, Bedtime MMA over there from the land down under, over there in Australia. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm going good, man. Thanks for having me, bro. It's cool to be here. It's weird to be here. It's weird to see myself right now, but it's cool to be here, man. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to even see you doing kind of the on-camera stuff a little bit more. I know when you first started, you weren't really an on-camera guy, but now you do bringing the camera in. You know, you got the McDonald's camera over from the local shoot.
But yeah, I'm actually at a McDonald's right now, bro. This curtain's covering up the playground behind me, dude. So I'm locked in, bro. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go, bro.
When took a shower in the restrooms and everything, my man. My man is
ready.
Man. But let's talk a little bit about your guide into MMA media and just the overall scene, because you've gotten to speak to guys like Chase Hooper, some pretty, Curtis Blades. That's kind of been one of your long-running jokes on the channel of you and Curtis Blades' relationship. Can you go into really how you got into the scene? Because I kind of feel you blew up like, I seen you had a couple thousand subscribers, and then just eventually it was 10,000, and then now you're just on a roll.
Yeah, it happens really quickly. I feel like I don't know. I just started making videos because #1, I was like convinced that I was really good at predicting fights. So my first video, I just hop on. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna predict some fights. And also just I'm the type of person that the way that I talk in my videos, like I'm ranting and I'm cracking jokes or whatever, and I do impressions. That's how I talk to my friends at the gym. Like that's how I talk to my teammates and shit like that when I'm fighting. So I just figured I might as well do it in a video, see if I can make something out of it, because that's how I live my life anyways. I'm always ranting about UFC. I'm watching the UFC cards every weekend. I'm predicting fights, going, bro, trust me, this guy's gonna win. So I feel like it translates into my videos, and people tell me I think the reason that I blew up, or the reason people really like my videos, is because they feel like they're hanging out with their friend, or like they feel like they're talking to their mate. So I feel like that's kind of the key. I don't know.
And it definitely does feel like that. And you're a big reason of why I wanted to have you on as like one of the first guests on this platform, was because I truly believe that the MMA community is not like any other sport. It's a little bit different. It's not like NBA. It's not like NFL, to where you actually have guys that are able to train with these guys that are at the top levels. It's not oftentimes where you get to go in the gym and go shoot a couple shots with Steph Curry. You know, as much as we'd all love to do that, you're able to get to train. I mean, you're in Australia. How is it being able to kind of be in a new epicenter of? I feel like MMA is just taking over that area, but I don't know. I feel like this past couple of years, especially the rise of stars like Volk. I know your guy JDM, but just like, can you go into that a little bit? Just being over there in the country over there.
I'll tell you this, bro. Like the regional scene over here, like even at an amateur level, I feel like everyone is just getting better. Like I've seen I've cornered amateur fighters and seen other events. Like I feel like but I feel like it's like this everywhere. You can see that the level is just rising of like the lowest level, like of pros or like amateurs. Like you can just see everyone is just getting more skillful in every single area because the sport's getting more popular. And I feel like that's going to come through with the Australian MMA scene as well. I feel like you're already seeing new guys come in on Contender Series, like my boy Cody Haddon. That was a great fight that he had. And fucking Quillen Salkeld, he's fucking awesome. His fight was amazing, bro. I literally sent that fight to my mate and was like, bro, you need to fight like this guy. I have a mate that's built like him. I was like, bro, you got to fight like this guy, dude. So
it's absolutely like how you said. It's crazy to see the scene develop over there, because I felt like just a couple of years ago we were hearing about guys like JDM, and then you were hearing about these fighting promotions over there, and it was like, okay, well, who's really coming from that? And now you have guys like, I believe Aaron Tua, the recent signing over there, Day One Contender Series, he was recently over there from the same promotion that Cody Haddon's from, Flex Fighting Champion. What was that promotion?
He's from Hex. He's from Hex. So there's Hex. There's Beatdown. That's pretty fire. I've cornered some fighters on there. Beatdown's awesome. There's like Eternal, which is a big one. It's on Fight Pass. So it's always growing. And I think you can see that from, you get like Volk, and then maybe a year or two later you get JDM, and then you'll get 3 guys now, or you'll get 5 guys signed every year now. So you can see that it's just the level is rising because you're bringing more every time.
And for you, you're someone that's looking to develop your own MMA career. And I feel like that's really what, and I know you said it feels like you're talking to your mates, but I think another thing that's truly separated you a little bit more from the pack is oftentimes these MMA YouTubers get grouped in this group of fans that don't know anything about the sport because they don't train in it, or because they're
Yeah,
not super involved in the lifestyle. They don't know these guys to the level. But you, like how you said, you've helped corner guys when they've gone to go and have fights. You yourself are a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, I believe. You've gone had Muay Thai fights. You have your MMA experience. It's not like
yeah,
you
man.
don't know what you're talking about. So
Yeah, dude.
do you feel like that's kind of also what separates you a bit?
I I am actually shocked that I'm the only one that trains. I'm actually shocked finding that out. Like when I started making videos, I just assumed everyone else that was making videos also like trains in it. Because I feel like I don't know about you, but like watching MMA, I don't know how people can watch MMA and not want to like train it or like want to learn it. Because
Oh
it's
no,
just such a
100%.
cool sport, dude. And I feel like my favorite part, of fighting is after a fight when you just like shake hands with your opponent and you're like, yo, good fight, dude. Like it's just the coolest thing in the world to me. So yeah, it's I feel like that definitely separates me. I think sometimes I'm able to be like, well, listen, dude, it's not as simple as, oh, this guy's really good and this guy's not as good. There's a lot more like at play. Like it's not always the better guy is going to win, or there's other factors outside of just the matchup that makes an outcome. So I feel like it definitely helps.
Hold on one second. My mind, I don't know why. Luckily, I'm in
That's
a called room, so it's not too bad. But
yeah, no,
continuing,
you're good.
you're stating about, yeah, like how you were speaking about, like it's crazy to see the amount of guys that go and put themselves in front of a camera and just don't want to train it at all. Like I'll give myself for an example, just because it's a little bit more of an open platform. My brother Jaime Rodriguez, now he's getting to begin his amateur career. The first thing I wanted to do when I first went to a fight with him after, I was like, dude, like, how do I do jiu-jitsu? Like, where do I go? Like, what do you go to a regular gym? Like, is there classes? Like, I had no idea about
Yeah,
that. So it's crazy to me to see these guys go on a platform, talk this crazy talk. I mean, we've seen what some of these MMA YouTubers say, and I feel like you're a lot more on the respectful side, especially because you have that experience. But speaking
yeah,
about a little
man.
bit of that MMA landscape, there's obviously the kind of recent debacle with Lucas Tracy, and I know that he kind of stepped down from making content. And then you got, I mean, MMA Guru. You have a
Yeah.
kind of a plethora of guys. Is there any other YouTubers that you really watch out on the scene? And I know you said Guru is a big inspiration for you, but anybody else that you really like take some hints from, and you're just like, wow, their work's really, it's promising, or it's really good.
I don't like my when I was like coming up, I'm gonna be real, you're probably the same. Making a certain type of content, it's really sometimes I don't want to watch that exact type of content. Like when I'm done making it, like I'll spend my day working on a video and I'll make it and then I'll go, I just want to watch like a movie or something. I'm gonna watch some like NBA stuff. Like I love NBA. That's like I watch like Flight Reacts and I take a lot of inspiration from Flight Reacts and like So Illuminati. If people know who he is, he's a fucking legend. And like Los Polos TV and stuff like that. But in MMA, my guys on the come up were Mexican martial arts. He's goated. He was one that I loved watching. He was a really good analyst. He was funny. He had really good predictions. Like he would just not drop a video for months, and then he just dropped this perfect video, being like, Dustin Poirier is going to beat Conor McGregor, and just called it. You know what I mean? He was one that I loved. Weasel is a legend of the game. He's like in the UFC embeddeds now. He's a staple of it.
It's
But yeah,
crazy to see
Guru,
Weasel too, like in UFC
dude, I
embedded,
know.
like how you said.
Weasel's popping off, man. Like he's a real analyst in the game now. So Weasel's definitely one I look up to. But yeah, Guru and Lucas Tracy, like that's my Mount Rushmore in my opinion. Is like Guru, Lucas Tracy, Weasel, and Mexican martial arts, or Keon Kimura. You know, the goat.
I was gonna say Keon Kimura is definitely one of
Yeah,
those
he's the
guys that
goat,
I
bro.
feel.
He's the best musician out of all of them, though. Like he clears all of them. So
And I feel the big difference too that you've kind of created with your own content is, I mean, there was guys doing the impressions, but I don't feel like anyone has really mastered that impression art like much like yourself. Has there ever been a certain
damn.
one that was really tough for you to kind of grab? Or because it seems like, I'm telling you, like I'll show some of my friends or I'll show some of my buddies that follow MMA some of your impressions, and they genuinely think that they like are hearing Driscus Duplessis or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
You're pretty close on. So how do you feel? Like, what do you think? Kind of just, I don't know. It's crazy how you're able to pick these all up, so, and you do it pretty quick on the fly.
Yeah. it's just a, I don't know, it's just a talent I've always had. I don't know how to explain it really. Like it's just, I just go off like a sentence that I heard them say that I think is funny, and I'll just kind of like repeat it to myself a couple of times. I'll like kick it around. I'm not ashamed to admit I do these impressions to myself while I'm driving. Like I'll be, the other day I was just driving, just doing GSP the entire time. Or like Nick Diaz is one that I do a lot. I'm like, I don't care, you know, it's whatever. Like it's whatever, you know. Like it's whatever. Like I'll just walk around, I'll just drive around doing the impressions sometimes. So that definitely gives me time to practice them. But I don't know. It's like, it's just something that I think you have to listen to someone so much to get good at it. So even fighters that I've made videos being like, I don't like this guy, I've listened to enough interviews to that where I can do their voice pretty well. So I would say it's definitely just like sentence by sentence. And you hear how they say some words, you know, like Driggers is right, okay, right. And then boom, then the rest comes from there, you know.
Is there anybody though that has given you a little bit of trouble in like trying to master down their impression? Like I know there's some guys that maybe the dialect, or because like I know you're obviously from Australia, the accent. Has there ever been a little bit of trouble with trying to gain one guy?
I feel like Americans are really hard to get because they like I have to paint in kind of like broad strokes. Like I think I can do like a Russian accent, I could do like South African, like a bit of a Brazilian or whatever. But Americans, it's like really hard to nail down those like from up north or they're from down south, like Bryce Mitchell. Like it's like I have to paint in broad strokes sometimes, so it's hard to get someone that doesn't have a super like big accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. And it could be a little bit tougher with like I know Colby Covington. He's a huge impression.
Dude, he's a hard one, man. I can't get him, bro.
But yeah, no, like how you said, I've never really noticed that about compared to other accents. You know, you're able to pick up maybe a little bit of an extremity in a sense. You know, maybe okay, this guy's got a super twang to it. But no, that's very interesting that you play on that and you're able to kind of break that down. But can you speak to fans a little bit more about I know you don't really like to talk too much about the personal life, but really what you've got going on outside of the cage and what you got going on outside of mixed martial arts YouTube? What is kind of the things that when bedtime, I know you said, you know, you go home, watch the NBA videos, but what are some other kind of hobbies that you're into besides from just the normal MMA practice and going and filming YouTube videos?
I'm gonna be real, man. I got a pretty boring life, dude. Like I'll train 1 to 2 times a day. I will watch like NBA. I'll watch like video essays as well. I do enjoy a nice little video essay. I like movies a lot, so that's stuff that I watch a lot of videos about. I enjoy running. I know that's an insane thing to say. I actually really enjoy running. Not when my coach makes me run, but I enjoy running in my free time. Like that's something I like doing. But yeah, man, I got a boring fucking life, man. Like I just make videos and I go to my job as well. I still have my normal job. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I still keep my job. So yeah, I just work, train, make videos, and go on a nice little run at the end of the day. That's pretty much it, man. I'm telling you, man. It's not this crazy lifestyle being bedtime. There's no Lambos yet.
You're not letting the Lambos game borrowed out for any of the Australian MMA stars. JDM.
No, maybe if like a baddie runs past, I'll be like, yo, bro, can you give me that Lambo back? But otherwise, like, no, man, I don't have any yet, man.
But just speaking of, I know you were talking a little bit about running, and especially over there in Australia. I mean, I feel like they kind of got one of the. I was talking with my younger brother about it. It's like, when they say it's the land down under, it really is like a whole different world. And you've been someone that's lived in both America and Australia. Can you kind of talk about some of those major differences that maybe people like, especially your audience, because I know you have a heavy American following, that maybe fans think like, oh yeah, Australia's this certain way, or oh yeah, there's this going on over there. But in all reality, it's maybe stereotypes, but more so some things about the country that people wouldn't know.
I don't think it's like a thing of they like make things up or whatever. Like, I think people just genuinely don't know. Like I remember when I was on the wrestling team in America, like my guys would be like, yo, do you guys have school over there? Like they don't know, man. People don't know much about like outside where they live. You know what I mean? Like I know they're wrestlers, but hey, like people just don't know. So I would say the differences that I saw like from living in both is I don't know. I just feel like all the differences that I want to talk about, they're so like surface level. Our Subway is better. Our milk is just fucking better, bro. You guys got better like serving sizes of foods. I like going to America, and when I order a large, it's actually a large. I can appreciate that. People in America are super cool. Like I would say, like Americans and Australians get along pretty well because we're both the type to just be like, "Yo, what's up, man?" You know, like other countries, they're a bit standoffish sometimes. But yeah, I would say there's not. I don't know. It's not that much different. I would say Australia is pretty close to America, but I think there's just some little changes, especially from the government. I think those are the big differences. But otherwise, like I don't know, people are pretty chill. We don't have a yellow school bus to go to school. That's kind of a little bit of a difference. And you guys got the whole building, bro.
Wait, what was that? So the whole building, like you guys?
So yeah, dude, in school in America, they had everything was like in one building. It was like a movie, bro. Like I didn't know that was like a real thing, like the bus and all that stuff. And like over here, it's like going to college basically as soon as you go to high school. Like you got all these separate buildings. Yeah, you got all these separate buildings, and they're like, oh, just you got to make sure that you get to your class or whatever. Like you got to get here. So
no, a lot more independent over there for sure. But no, speaking about Australia, some things I found, because I mean, obviously meeting MMA regional guys, I know a couple of guys that are over there from the Perth or the Perths of the world or Sydney's. They've kind of told me, I feel like the biggest difference is really the humor in Australia compared to America. I feel Australians are a lot more sarcastic, and it's funny for me because I'm extremely sarcastic. But to a normal American, they'll.
Oh man.
Yeah, I feel it's just a complete switch up.
Yeah, my chat is not very fond of my sarcasm. Like they really don't like, and they get mad when they don't get it. That I can appreciate an American that is able to say, you know what, dude, we just got different sense of humor. People like that get on the, oh, that's bad sarcasm. No, it's good sarcasm if it works. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's definitely the biggest difference. We got like that dry sense of humor. Like, you go, how's your day? Oh, my day's going fucking amazing, mate. You know what that really means. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that is actually the biggest difference, man.
Funny thing is I actually have experienced that. Like one time I did tune into a stream, and I think you did say something along the like, "Oh, great fight," and then it was not the most grand fight, and then everyone was like, "Bedtime, what are you talking about?" And and that's something I have noticed. And another thing, maybe you can correct me on this as well. You guys in Australia big on coffee, like huge on coffee and quality of coffee. Because I took one of my friends over here from Australia, took him to a coffee shop, and he said it was pardon my French, I know it's MLH uncensored, but he said it was dog shit. And I've ever since that day, I've just always held Australia to be, when I go there, I better.
Yeah, now that is how it is, bro. Like every time I go to America, like I went last year, and I was like missing my coffee really bad after like 2 or 3 days. I was like, oh man, this is a real big difference. Because obviously when I lived over there, I was like a teenager, so I wasn't really drinking coffee. I wasn't like one of those guys. But now it's like a really big part of my life. I think I had 4 yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. I think I had 4 yesterday because I had 2 training sessions, like morning and afternoon. So I definitely needed that, and I had a PT as well. So I had to drop a 4 bomb on him. But yeah, there is a big difference, dude. And even like, maybe this is gonna revoke my man card here, you guys, but I fucking love iced coffee, dude. And even that, there's just night and day. Like we're just, you guys got a lot of stuff like over us, but that is not one of them.
As in the wise words of Kendrick Lamar, Australia, they telling America they not like us, basically. So, and I don't blame it, because from what I've heard, it definitely is night and day over there in terms of quality and all.
You got to go to Melbourne. You got to go to Melbourne. If you go to Melbourne, that's where it's at, man.
That's where the coffee's at?
They're the hipsters over there, bro. They've got you covered, dude.
Can you talk a little bit too? I feel like one of the and you can speak on this a little bit more than I can. I feel a lot of people in America also don't know about how Australia, basically, it's just the whole entire country damn near is like inhabitant. And it's like only the coastal areas. And you've talked about it on stream a little bit, but I just find it crazy because, I mean, obviously being from America, coming inwards, and you're able to go Arkansas and Bryce Mitchell over there in Arkansas. You got guys in Nebraska. You got people over there in Colorado, kind of middle of the country. How is that kind of being in the country? Is it traveling weird? I'm very interested in that, especially in terms of MMA, because I know with promotions and having to travel, like, is the traveling to get to certain spots a little bit more difficult?
Not like all the population is very like clustered together. So it's one of those things where on the coast where I am, you've got like the Gold Coast, which is like our version of like Las Vegas. You've got like Brisbane, which is like the big city and it's super industrial. Like you all that stuff is like clustered together. And I think for Australians, because of the way that our country is laid out, to us, a short drive is like an hour and a half. It's like, oh, it's only an hour and a half away. You know, like in America, I used to trip people out so bad when I'd be like, oh yeah, I live close. I live like 30 minutes away. And they'd be like, dude, that's not close. You know what I mean? So I think that trips people out sometimes. But yeah, I would say that it's not that bad. Like it's all kind of clustered together and it's nice being nice next to the beach, like pretty easily. Like everywhere you go, you can kind of hit the beach, even if you're not trying to. But yeah, like I don't know. It's weird. Like you don't think about stuff like that when you live here. Like you don't think about it. But I think living in both maybe made me realize like, damn, okay, yeah, we do drive a lot. Like, yeah, we do go pretty far. And I think I told you one of my guys, we had to fight on this fucking farm, bro. We had to drive out to the countryside and like the cage was in this barn and like overlooking the farm. It was cool. I dig the vibe. I was kind of jealous, but yeah, man.
No, I think that's very interesting, especially to a lot of fans that are going to be watching this and they're going to be like, what the heck? Because over here, I mean, it's very rare that you're ever going to go to an MMA show that's not at a convention center, not at a hall of some sort. I mean, very
Yeah.
rarely do places even do outside events, kind of like how I was texting you about. So I think fans are going to be a little bit interested by a lot of things that you're having to say on this call, my man. But can we let's take a little bit of steps back as well? I know we were talking about some of those early influences in MMA, how exactly the country is over there in Australia, but I think a lot of fans would also be really interested on the roots of Bedtime MMA because, I mean, to go ahead, start a channel, the production in terms of pumping out videos, it's not just like you go in there and you're able to just edit. Like you had to learn an editing program. Can you kind of take us through the literal baby steps of how exactly everything got in? How did you learn how to edit? How did all this stuff kind of come together? Because like how you said, I know it's a fast journey, but still it took a lot of steps on the way to get.
Yeah. Well, I've been making videos since I was like 12, man. Like I've had YouTube channels before when I was a kid. I used to play Minecraft. That was definitely that was a vibe back in the day, man. I thought I was famous. I had like 200 subs when I was a kid, and everyone at school thought I was like famous. So that was like, I did more. Yeah. So that's where I learned a lot of this stuff. Like from a kid, I always probably shouldn't admit this, but I acquired a copy of like Photoshop in Vegas as a kid. You know, completely 100% legally. I did that. Okay. But yeah, like I love Sony Vegas. I used to edit on Vegas a lot. But now I kind of use like this After Effects light kind of thing. And a lot of it is just trial and error. Like when you're figuring out stuff like this, I honestly believe you don't have to be good at editing. You don't have to be good at like high quality. Like if you go back and watch my old videos, the audio is genuinely like borderline unlistenable. It's like being in a Call of Duty lobby with somebody that won't shut up. Like that's what listening to my old videos was like. But it's really, what are people watching you for? I feel like that is the thing that I've learned the most, more than like, oh, I add this new edit to my videos and people just watch them, you know? So I would say the editing process, I've tried to just keep it just really simple, and focus more on like a better microphone. Eventually we're going to get off the McDonald's Wi-Fi and laptop. We're making baby steps here. But yeah, I would say with the editing, it's just trial and error. And I used to edit my videos more and people were kind of like, dude, we just want to listen to you. We don't need all these jump cuts and stuff. So yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just trial and error. There's never going to be a uniform, like you must get good at this and this and this and have 20 transitions in the video. Like, come on, man, you know?
And I think that advice is it's what needs to be said, because I feel oftentimes these YouTubers or content creators, or just in general, I mean, I go to university with a bunch of students and they always say, I want to do this or I want to do this. And it's like, well, you have a phone, you have a computer, just do it. And it's very much, you're a perfect testament to that. And I feel that was a big reason of not only why I wanted to have you on, but a big reason to why you've had the success you have had, because I feel like how you've stated, it's like how you're talking to your mates, you're talking to your friends, you're drinking a beer at the bar and you ask the guy next to you, hey, you know about this fight? Bedtime MMA is going to be that guy that talks to you. But just a couple more questions for you, man. I know we've really gotten to break down the true bedtime lore and really getting to talk to, really I feel like this is the first time you've ever really kind of had a full-on interview, right?
It's my first ever interview, bro. It's my first like being interviewed. Obviously, I had the Chase Hooper interview, the legendary one that everyone tells me to drop. But this is my first one where I'm answering the questions. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
When will that one drop? Is there any timetable on that? I know you do the
I'm gonna just keep
podcast as
messing.
well.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep messing with the chat, bro. I'm hitting them with the Drickus, mate. I didn't say I was going to release it, mate. I just said I was going to make it. So it's a big misunderstanding with that, mate. But doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not dropping it. I just decided I'm not going to. And chat still asked me about it, so that's a testament, I guess, to that. You know, to the gaslighting abilities.
That's what I was gonna say. It just goes to show of how good of a Driscus impression you really truly are doing there, right?
Mate,
But
I'm becoming the character, bro. I'm getting in character now. You know what I mean? Fuck, man.
how about this one though? I know you may think this is a little crazy, but some comparisons wise, I don't know why, and don't take this, but Heath Ledger. Have you ever got the comparisons to Heath Ledger over there when you were in America?
No, man,
You give me that vibe, the sarcasm and the energy. Sometimes your wit. You give me a little bit of a Heath Ledger. Was that ever something that an impression that you kind of felt, or you feel like, oh, you know?
Mate, I will take that. I will take that to the bank and I'll run with it. I'm definitely going to be bringing that up to the boys. Boys, I'm basically Heath Ledger now. Right? I'm one of the greatest actors of all time, you know. But no, man, dude, I'm like brain rotted. Like everything I think about is in MMA terms, basically. I don't know. I'll do something and go, bro, I'm literally Robert Whitaker. I'm literally Charles Oliveira. Something like that. I'm so brain rotted with MMA that that's all I really talk about with my mates. And that's the main people that I really talk with outside of the bedtime thing. I get a lot of DMs and I try and reply to people and stuff like that. But really the only times that I'm not bedtime is when I'm with my training partners, like my main group of guys that I train with. So no, it's just complete brain rot of MMA. So I've never got Heath Ledger. I'm very flattered though. I appreciate it.
No, that's I was watching 10 Things I Hate About You the other day, and I don't know,
That's
you
a
had said
banger
something
movie, man.
during the call, and I just was like, how he's tapping in a little something, and I
Are
couldn't
we
put my
having a
finger
moment
on it.
right now? Are we having like a 10 things I hate about you right now?
I may have to go ahead and like start sliding down the
Hey,
steps and start singing
hey,
I
boy.
love you, baby.
Yeah, shit, bro.
My man. But hey, it's been a great pleasure to have you on the program, my man. I know you have been looking forward to possibly having an MMA debut. Is there any chance I can get
Yes.
that announcement of when that possibly would be happening? I think you're going to have a lot of people that would want to be watching that. I know you've been busy in the Muay Thai though. When's the possibility we could see that?
Probably next year. I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm not putting a like rush on. You know, I've got heaps of time. I'm only 23, so I have time. Yeah, I got time. So I've been training. I've been fighting for like 2 years now, like pretty solid, like consistently. So I think once I do the things I want to do with Muay Thai and I feel like, all right, I'm ready to do this. That's probably when it'll happen. So I'm not putting a time stamp on it. I want to go back to America and train like some more MMA again before I fight. I definitely know that because that leveled up my fucking wrestling so much, dude. Like that was just a big eye opener. Like, okay, I'm good. Like I can do jiu-jitsu, I can do Muay Thai, but MMA in itself is a different like set of moves and set of skills. Like especially the transition from being taken down to getting back up, or like being taken down to using submissions and stuff like that. That was like, okay, I got to lock in on this. When I'm ready to do it, that's going to be 100% my focus, for sure. Hey, bro, you might see me in there fucking suplex and I don't know whoever I need to go train with, man. Whoever it needs to be. You know, if I have to go and get slumped by Dustin Poirier to learn something, I'll go do it. You know, like we can squash the beef. You know, it's all good, man.
2 years of training, man. And I personally, I mean, if any fans out there, if you have not got the chance to watch this guy fight, go ahead, head to one of those Bedtime FC streams. I believe you put them on, and
Bro, yeah,
go watch it,
that's
man,
it.
because it's definitely entertaining. And that last matchup you had Muay Thai wise, I mean, you went out there and you had a very, very solid performance. Do you think like having those Muay Thai experiences and just overall, I mean, like how you said, you've been training for the last 2 years and mixed martial arts overall, do you feel like that just truly it makes you a smarter MMA fighter not only, but I feel a lot of these guys go into the amateurs and they only have jujitsu or they only have this one thing, and they're not really going for that new formality of like how you are, where you're training every single thing and you're truly getting better as a martial artist.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people rush it. Like I feel like from what I see on the outside looking in, like I can't speak on fighting MMA. Like I can only speak on fighting Muay Thai and competing jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that. But because I've been training for like 5 years, like I've only been competing, like fighting for 2 years. So that's when I've been really, really a big difference in, am I eating right? Am I getting the right amount of sleep? Like all that stuff, like the things that go alongside the skills that you build up when you start out. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people really rush things. Like they just, as soon as they get an opportunity to fight MMA, they just take it, and they don't even know what they're doing yet. And I feel like one thing that I've always been is someone that's like I get kind of like an overthinker, or I'll be like, all right, I've got to make sure that I've got all my like P's and Q's like squared away. Like I've got to make sure that I know how to beat these guys in the striking, the grappling, the wrestling. You know what I mean? So I gotta lock in on all that. See what I'm saying, bro? I'm actually brain rotted, dude. But yeah, I'm somebody that's
I don't know if you ever known this, man, but I've actually gotten to be on the table with your guy Bilal over there for UFC
bro,
Fight
you gotta
Pass.
hook me up, man. We gotta get the Bilal bedtime fucking collab, dude.
It was me, Bilal, TJ DeSantis, and Boston Anik over there, UFC 298. Got to talk a little bit. He asked me some questions. Got a picture from Bilal signed before he was the champion. So I can much be like you and say, I was on that Bilal train before everybody else was, my man.
Bro. I've been on that train for like 2 years, man. People got mad at me because I picked Leon, like, because I thought Leon in the UK was going to get the decision. Like, you know, it's not a bad idea, but I should have picked Bilal because I've been on the Bilal train for years, bro. That's my guy.
You're speaking a little bit about some prospects that maybe if you're seeing them on the Australia regional scene, but also too on the UFC scene that you just think, man, like how is no one on this guy? I mean, I know there's the Montel Jacksons of the world. A lot of guys love him in bantamweight. Peyton Talbot's kind of he's been being picked up a lot, obviously as a prospect. Pretty cool as well that he was able to fight over there at A1 Combat, and I got to see him a couple of times. But
I'm jealous of that, man. That's cool as, dude. That's cool as.
What do you kind of make of the not only regional prospect scene, but maybe UFC prospect scene as well?
Oh man, I try and be dialed in with stuff like that, but sometimes it's really hard to like keep track of all these ones because I'll watch a guy fight and go, dude, that guy's awesome. I'm gonna keep track of that, and then I'll just forget, and then they'll show back up, and I'll go, oh yeah, this guy, I know this guy. There's so many. I'm gonna forget so many, dude. Like I really enjoy, my favorite division is welterweight. Like I love welterweight division. I don't know why, it's just always been my absolute favorite. I hate that they're all blowing up, dude. Because like when Carlos Prates showed up in the UFC, I was like, this is my guy, dude. He's like a Muay Thai guy. He chain smokes cigarettes. He's so cool. I was like, this is my guy, dude. And now he's like, everyone knows him. Like everyone loves him. All those Fighting Nerds guys are so good, dude. But yeah, Peyton Talbot's another one I really believe in. I think he will end up as champion. I'm going to call that now. Like, I think he will end up as champion. He's just got that thing that you can see on a prospect where you just go, damn, like that guy's got something going on. But yeah, like in terms of Australia, I really like Quillen. Like he's really, really cool. I love the way that he's tall, but he doesn't fight like a big, tall, lanky guy. Like he'll try and get on the inside. I'm guilty of that myself. I think it's really cool. So he's one I really enjoy watching from Contender Series. He's really good.
And it just seems like how we're going to continue to see these guys come out of that Australia area because it just seems like not only the culture has picked up so much on the fighting, but also just like how we were saying, the promotions, man, like they're just pumping out. Like Cody Haddon was an insane grab, but then you also had Aaron Tula. Pretty sure he's going to be getting the call. But it's just like how you said, and then Quinlan, so many guys that I feel are able to just get in that UFC scene. And I think honestly, like it's going to, in a couple of years, we really truly will see a new rise of athletes from Australia. We're thinking now with the Volk and all that, like, oh yeah, we've seen, everyone thinks you see the Mexico rise, but I truly think that they're going to continue to have a very steady presence in this MMA field. But thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Bedtime MMA over there in the land down under over there in Australia, Michael Hernandez of MLH Media, and we are going to be signing out over here for the MLH Uncensored episode 1.